Oh, it was very, very tightly held. In fact, when I was first approached, I was asked if I wanted to be trained in these enhanced interrogation techniques. I was told that only 16 people in the CIA knew that this program existed. 16 people. Now that's
a lot tighter than I would have thought.
Yeah, it was very tight.
Do you think, well, and there's an aspect of this we have to add as well, too. I mean, there's a rendition program. There's the reality that the United States, when they don't want to get their fingernails super dirty, like, I don't know what's going over in Egypt or Jordan or other countries that have extra car batteries and nipple clamps.
Exactly.
Not, I mean, that's more of a movie thing than anything, but
you'd be surprised.
Well, and that's the issue. I mean, it's funny when people actually start to look for these things. It's not even that well hidden. I remember the rendition program. I used to fly Gulf Streams after I got out of the military.
That's cool.
There was a Gulf Stream that went up for sale, and for whatever reason, it got associated with the agency because it was one of their birds that they were using for rendition, which got me down this rabbit hole of looking more at that rendition program. So the information is out there. It's more just a matter of people having access to it. That's what piqued my interest. Do you think it actually ever stopped? Because it's the same thing as, the agency, from my understanding, is supposed to be externally oriented, but they'll use cutouts. They'll use corporations largely formed by ex-employees, or they'll create a paramilitary arm, right? The ground branch, the air branch, the maritime branch, all of these things.
That's right.
Do you think it ever actually stopped, or do they just keep taking left and right turns until they can get to the end state that they want and justify it that way?
I don't think rendition or extraordinary rendition ever stopped. I don't think it even slowed. And certainly Congress has never acted on it. And, we should point out to your viewers too, that there's a difference between a rendition and an extraordinary rendition. If I'm in Pakistan and I catch you and you're from Tunisia, and I send you back to Tunisia, that's a rendition. An extraordinary rendition is if I'm in Pakistan and I catch you and you're from Tunisia and I send you to Egypt or Syria or
you
Morocco.
get dressed in a diaper with a suppository to knock you out and you're handcuffed and you wake up in Egypt.
Exactly. Now, there's nothing that's specifically illegal there. I mean, you could argue that it's kidnapping, but it's a crime that was not committed on U.S. soil, and it was done, in the name of the government, and it was done to address a clear and present danger. So I don't think that there was ever even a slowdown in renditions. And listen, I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but and there have certainly been well documented horrible mistakes with renditions.
Yeah.
But philosophically, I don't have a problem with renditions. I don't.
I have to agree with you on that, just based on my own experience. I mean, you saw a different side of the coin than I did. I saw more of the tactical perspective, largely based off of information that would come from sources such as yourself. It's as if you're trying to walk on top of a razor blade without getting cut. And I don't know if it's possible. And I can sit here and say, yes, I saw extreme benefit from it, and sometimes the ends justified the means. But I can also say that sometimes the wrong people got wrapped up, and I have no idea where they went or what the impact was to their life. And I don't know, maybe that's a never-ending existential question that you have to ask yourself, or that's something you have to confront on your deathbed.
Right.
For the right person, for the right reasons, I can't necessarily say I have an issue with the rendition either.
Yeah. I'm gonna speak very circumspectly, but there was a guy whenever I think of renditions, I think of this case. I received a cable from headquarters. I was in Pakistan saying that a really bad guy was going to arrive in Karachi. So I alerted my liaison contacts. I flew down to Karachi. We grabbed the guy at the airport, and we took him back to Islamabad, and I began interrogating him. He did everything in the Al-Qaeda training manual. He pretended to pass out, and he fell off the chair. he pretended to have an excruciating pain in his stomach. And we would just sit there and look at him like this, like, are you done? And he had his cover story down pat. He just kept repeating it over and over. We knew none of it was true because he didn't know that, what we knew from the previous several weeks. And finally I said to him, look, you're making this really hard. Not for us, because I don't give a shit one way or the other, but for yourself. And he goes, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of anything you can do to me. And I said, I don't expect you to be afraid. I said, our partners, though, our partners are going to make sure that you're afraid. We sent him to a third country, an extraordinary rendition, and he broke in 2 days and spilled everything. I have no idea what they did to him. And when I asked jokingly, one of their officers, he said, oh, we gave him a cup of tea and an offer he couldn't refuse. And that's all he would say.
I wonder if his penis was in a vice while he was having that cup of tea. Perhaps that was the offer. Exactly.
Exactly.
Man, that's almost one where it's like, I don't know if I want to ask you this question.
Yeah. Yeah. We offered him a cup of tea. It's like, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard me talk about Firecracker Farm and their hot salt. You probably heard other people talk about it as well. If you haven't tried it yet, let me just tell you, you're missing out on some serious flavor. Their hot salt is delicious, and it really makes pretty much anything that you put it on even more delicious. It's hot, but when you use it in moderation, it's not too hot, and the flavor that it adds enhances without overpowering. It is handmade, super premium, and comes in awesome stainless steel push-button grinders like the one I have in my hand right here. You can take them anywhere. Hot sauce, if you've had this experience, can very easily overpower other flavors and always runs out quickly when it's good. Hot salt lasts and lasts. The push grinder holds over 500 plus pumps, and when you consider the refill it comes with, it's thousands of servings, and it's a great deal and a lot cheaper than the sauce.